So I used to always unknowingly ignore my scene before I point my camera towards a particular direction to shoot my subject or the scene. Sometimes because I didn't shoot as much as I was supposed to, I find myself not being able to use most of the shots. But it wasn't until a particular event that I showed that I decided that I like this scene. Why don't I just film what I normally go through, the mistakes that I find in my shots sometimes when I come back, and find a way to actually fix it in post. So I had to do a bit of research before embarking on this, and when I realized that there was a way to go around the flicker that you always see in your shot, sometimes when the lights that are in your shot are coming from the ceiling, the bulbs are not necessarily meant for filmmaking, you shoot at it and you don't have the right settings or a way to fix it in post, you always are going to be found wanting, and your scenes are going to have this blinking effect, the flashing effect that of course you wouldn't love to have. So I filmed this particular event, and there were a lot of lights. It was set up for during the day, and the decor was supposed to be used when there was still a glimmer of light coming from the sky, but we couldn't start on time, and so we went deep into the night, and I decided to get some shots, even though I knew of a way to avoid it. But sometimes you might be carried away, and probably because of time constraints you wouldn't have all the time that will to scan your scene to look for those particular lights that are going to be flickering. So I deliberately took some shots and ensured that there were a lot of flickering in some of the footages to fix it, to show you. So like you're seeing right now, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to show you two ways to fix this issue. The first method is going to be on set before you even film, how you set your camera, and the second one is when, let's say, perhaps you didn't realize that when you were shooting, came home, that's when you found out that that issue was prevailing in some of your shots, and so you're going to fix that in the second method. So let's get on with the first one. With this very first method, you have to make sure that your settings on your camera are just perfectly right. So first of all, point your camera towards your scene and scan the entire frame. Look for the lights, particularly the ones that are coming from the ceiling. And sometimes some lights can be set up by these setup designers, or should I say the decorators, when they come on set. For instance, if it's a wedding and you have a lot of chandeliers and all, most often than not, these lights are not really designed for shooting videos. And with your seasoned knowledge about filmmaking when it comes to the settings, where you have to double your frame rate settings to your shutter speed. So let me just break it down if you don't know about this. The 180-degree rule is what this is all about, where you ensure that if you're shooting at 60 frames per second, your shutter speed should be 125. Of course, double of 60 is 120, but we don't have 120 as a shutter speed setting on your camera. Of course, you can check it and see if you don't know, but of course you always have to double it. So if you're shooting at 30, 60 or 50 is what I find that it works. And if you're shooting at 24 frames per second, which is normally recommended, you're going to have to double up the 24 frames per second for your shutter speed at a setting of 1/50th of a second. So yeah, let's say you set this up and you point your camera in the direction of where these lights are present and you see flickering. Oh, I just hate them anytime I see them in the shots. Let's say, for instance, I come home and I realize that they were there and now I'm going to have to fix it. Become a hassle. So this is what I noticed, that anytime I stepped down a stop to the left, it always gave me very good results. Sometimes it eradicates it totally, other times you have to change it further, but most often than not, it always works when you turn it down a notch of a stop. The very first time, it always works. So let's say, for instance, let me just break it down. If you're shooting at 60 frames per second because you want to slow it down in post when you're editing, you're going to have to shoot at a shutter speed setting of 1/100th of a second. This time, you're not going to shoot at a 1/125th of a second as normal as you have to go with when you are considering the 180-degree rule. And trust me on this, if you have a light that is obnoxious, which previously flickered a lot, is going to be changed. It's going to be fixed and you're going to have a pleasing look. But sometimes it doesn't really help it when you are going to slow it down in post and it's at 1/100th of a second. Sometimes not really smooth. It can be jittery when you are editing and you slow it down. But of course, there's a fix that you can get away with. So yeah, that's for the first method. Let's look at the second method when you've come home and now you've realized that the issue is there. So in post, my preferred software for editing is Premiere Pro. So place your clip with a flickering issue on your timeline and duplicate it by holding the Alt key and dragging it up to have two of the same clips. Now that that's set, zoom in all the way by hitting the plus key to open up your timeline. And once that's done, pull the playhead to the beginning of the clip. And with a duplicated clip that's played on top, ensure that you shift it just one frame off to the right and reduce its opacity to 50. And play it back, and you're going to realize that the issue is fixed. If you realize it's not fixed, then probably was because the flickering issue was really intense and severe. You can always mostly solve this issue, but if you can't get away with what you have and probably still a problem for you, you can nest the clips and try the same method again by duplicating the nested clip on the sequence and do it once more and try and see. If this method is overdone, you realize that there are a lot of ghosty effect in the shot like you see right now in the reference video. But there's a way to always solve it by doing it once for the first time, and it solves the problem. If this was informative for you and it could solve most of your issues for your present project and also for the future projects that I'm looking forward to filming, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Leave down a comment down in the comment section below and let me know about what you make of this issue fix. And I'm gonna catch you next time. Turn on the post notification button, and of course I'm gonna catch you once again next time in the next video. Have a wonderful day. See you.